It's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present the round 9 review here on YouTube. Sorry, too used to saying my TikTok intro there. But yeah, just one thing before I get started. Just a couple of things before I get started. Glad to hear that SuperCoach DR is going very well. He uploaded a video on Twitter today. Because the poor bloke's been through a lot. He was having surgery. His poor his poor little son, River, is in hospital as well. He's been back at home for a couple of days. So good to see him and the family going well. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Hope everyone spend some time with their mum if you could. And just an apology from me because I feel like I haven't uploaded as much as I would have liked this year, and I do apologise for that. As you can see, I'm back in Melbourne. I was in the Gold Coast for the last week and a half. Fair to say it's a bit tough to concentrate on footy. Fair to say where I watched a fair bit of the footy at the casino. Don't worry, I wasn't having a gamble, but I was just at the sports bar in the casino watching a bit of the footy. So that was good fun. Just a week and a half away with the family, that sort of thing. So that was good fun. But back in Melbourne, back into the swing of things, and I really need to get a haircut. It's been about 6 weeks since I've last had my haircut. My hair grows really quick, so I try to get one every month. But yeah, need to get onto that. So into SuperCoach we go. 2,402 we scored, which I'm pretty happy with. I'm pretty happy with that. It's always a good week when you're going up in the ranks. Obviously, a few concerns though, and I'll go through with that. Went up 1,238 in the ranks. We now sit at 10,302. We were 13,985 or something a couple of weeks back, so it's good that we're slowly climbing back up the ranks. But yeah, just as I said, a few concerns with the side, which I'm a little bit worried about, but we'll get into it right now. So yeah, won the Podmasters draft, so that was good. Got absolutely belted in the SuperCoach Edge Keeper League. That was terrible. And my mate's league, I've lost 3 in a row, so losing a bit in that one there. So for Classic this week, so first time we've scored over 2,400, I believe, this season. I could be wrong, but feel like it was a good week. As I said, I'm not going to go too much into detail with the analytics and all that sort of thing. Did catch a little bit of footy without concentrating too much on it. Was just watching it for the fun of it, really. So I'll try to keep this short and sweet. So Luke Ryan, 111. I know he was struggling up until three-quarter time. Then he had a mammoth fourth quarter of just pure seagull territory stuff from Luke Ryan once again. So yeah, very happy to have him. He's been one of my best early additions for the season this season. So very happy with Luke Ryan. Nick Dacos, 147. I was actually on the plane for about a half of Collingwood and West Coast. So and I didn't watch a second of it, so I can't give you guys anything about what happened in this game. So I'm just going to go off the scores. 147 is really good. He was going to be my backup captain option if I decided to go Bont into Dacos, but in the end I went Butters into Bont if Butters didn't work out, but I'll get to Butters. But 147, fantastic. This Harry Sheezel new crap role is just no good because you really want a backman. If you want to have a North Melbourne player in your side, you want it to be a defender because that's where the ball's going to be all the time. North Melbourne are literally one of the worst sides I have seen. Sorry to any North Melbourne fans watching, but I'm sorry. It's just a tough watch for you guys at the minute. And when he's moved into the midfield and forward line, now from an AFL perspective, as I said the past couple of weeks, it makes a lot of sense to move him up the ground. Try to for him to pull off some tricks in better ways, in better places rather than just cheap kicks around the back. But obviously, this is going to affect his SuperCoach scoring. So he ain't leaving. If I was in a better position, I would look to do it. But If you're not a Harry Sheezel owner, I would just bet against him because he's so highly owned, and a lot of people aren't going to have the luxury of trading him out, especially when, I mean, he's dropped all of his money. He's dropped a lot of his money anyway, so I don't see much point. Is he a top six defender from here? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. He could be. He probably will. He probably will. Just a couple of bad weeks. I hate owning Hayden Young so much. So much. I know he went 130 last week. I don't care. It's just such a rough watch. I know even when he went 130 against Richmond, just the low time on ground, I can't stand it. But we're not in the position anymore to be trading any more premiums, that's for sure. So I'm gonna have to keep a hold of him. I still think he's like fine, but it's just a play I don't like owning. The inconsistency drives me up the wall. The low time on ground when Nat Fife, I know Nat Fife had a rest before, but as the sub last week, but even Nat Fife is getting more time on ground than Hayden Young. Now, this partly isn't his fault because there was the hamstring awareness that he had a few weeks ago now. To be honest, I'd almost rather Hayden Young just get managed or rested for a week just to see if that would help him because I think it's pretty clear that it is limiting him. I know he's still getting high disposal counts per game, but nah, nah, I can't do it. I don't like it. I don't like it, but here we are. Can't do much about it. He'll be my D6 for the year, and as long as he just doesn't get injured, really. Sam Closey, 105. Good to see him bounce back up against North. So I was pretty confident he could get in, put in a good score. Blake Howe's 54. So in the end, I think it was a good hold to keep a hold of him. Made an extra 70K, but he's just a bloke I don't really want on field. But he does have West Coast this week, so maybe I'll give him a pass for that. I couldn't believe it. Will Graham got dropped. I was in the live stream with Brad. Shout out to Brad as well, by the way. He did the Luke Ryan um, hair change. Yeah, he's blonde now. And he did all that just not to bring him in this week. So no, just kidding, Brad. Love your work. But yeah, Will Graham. So we live reacted to that in the live stream, him being dropped, but the concerning part about Will Graham is he actually play in the VFL, which does concern me because I said on Twitter, like, I'd rather him. I thought it was going to be more of an omission, but he was going to be rested for footy for a week and then maybe come back into the side. But it seems like it's a proper omission. So hopefully he can find his way back into the side. I think there's worse players than Gold Coast than him, but it's going to be pretty tough after a win like that. Marty Hall's just dead, and I was just thinking to myself as well with this. He has been the worst dead rookie to have as well, because look at when I've tried to use him for a loophole, have a look at this crap. So just looking at his fixtures now, it gets a lot better. I think Melbourne do play a lot of later games over the next 5-6 weeks, so that is good. But let's look back on this. All right, played first game, so couldn't loop him there. This was a later game, so this was a little bit more useful. First game of the round. Bye. First game of the round. First game of the round. This was a bit better, but you get what I mean. Like, there is not much I have been able to do with Marty Hoare here. I'd rather this be Zach Reid. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, as I guess sort of my summary of my SuperCoach season has been like that. Hindsight's wonderful, but I thought I was making the right decision at the time, but I definitely prefer Zach Reid because it looks like he could come back in the side very soon, and Marty Hoore's just dead as a donut. But yeah, I'm not moving off him now. I don't see the point. Now my trades. I didn't go over my trades. I'm so sorry. All right. What trades did we make last week? These are the three we locked in on. I'm fine with this. We brought in Caleb Serong, Darcy Jones, and Tim English, and we traded out Luke Davies-Uniacke, Tom Powell, and Massimo D'Ambrosio. So Massimo had to go. The break even was far too high, and I believe that was the right call. I think he scored a 52. Shout out to my boys, 2 back-to-back wins for the Hawks. Very happy about that, fair to say. It's always good seeing your footy side win. So yeah, no, that got me up and about. 2 from 2 with the Hawks when I was up in the Gold Coast, so that was sick. Tom Powell, I'm fine with this. I just can't cop it. Should have traded him out the week before, but once again, a very similar theme with my SuperCoach side this year is just I'm just trading out blokes one week too late. But yeah, I think Tom Powell had to go. But I should have held Powell over Roberts because I'll get to Roberts. It was between it was between Powell and Roberts, and I traded out Powell. And then Luke Davies-Uniacke. So I traded him out finally. I started him, and I just thought to myself, you know what? He's just not a keeper. There was a couple of reasons why I did this. One, it could give me a bloke like Caleb Serong and Tim English, so I just used his money. I didn't see him as a keeper. Like, he was averaging 96 for me in my side as a midfielder. I just don't see that as keeper worthy. And look at he had 35 touches. No, don't do this. He had 35 touches and 1 goal and scored 109. This is that game. I know I traded him out and he still scored 109, blah, blah, blah. But that is the exact reason why I traded him out. He is a very talented footballer. Hasn't worked out for me as a pick this year. But the problem with him being in, sorry, North fans again, in such a bad side is that no matter what you do, your scoring is going to be very limited when the game's basically over at halftime, as it is most weeks for them. LDU's best scores this year have come from when North Melbourne have been competitive, which was in the first 2 rounds, realistically. He was really good against Adelaide, but once again, that game was dead. But if North Melbourne are competitive, he'll score well. But North Melbourne right now, I just don't see where there's a turning point at the minute. And this game where I traded him out was the exact reason why I just didn't want this pick. 35 touches, a goal, got belted by 70 points, or something like that, and scored 109 from that. So his scaling's just so limited when the game's all over at halftime, realistically, and there's not too much you can do. So, nah, didn't want this pick. This pick drove drove me off the wall. What's the saying? Whatever the saying is, but yeah, just didn't want this LDU pick. So, happy to move him on. I just didn't see him as a keeper, so that's why I moved off him. And then we get to Caleb Serong. Thank God I brought him in. I just saw the like break even. I didn't have Serong, didn't have Merritt, didn't have Rao heading into the week, and I'm thinking I need to get one of these blokes in because I'm a bit sick of mucking around this midfield. So I got him in. He was sort of in my plans for all week. I definitely wanted him in, and I was very happy with this 150. I thought Roe Bottom would give him a bit of attention, which I'm sure he did. But once again, I didn't pay too much attention to too much in the footy. But now I'm back in Melbourne. I'll be watching a bit of footy over the weekend. I'll be a lot more locked in on that. But very happy to be rewarded bringing Caleb Strong by scoring a 150. And if you don't have him, probably a little bit out of reach now. A bit too much money to be paying up. Marcus Bontempelli, speaking of a bloke you'd hopefully for any non-owners, you did pick him up this week or last week because he's just taking advantage of 2 really easy matchups. Scored a 135. I was just circling this matchup thinking Bont's just going to go extremely well here. Prove why he's one of the best midfielders in the competition. And he just did that. Like vice captain Butters on the Friday night. I was thinking Port Adelaide needed to respond. I didn't think they'd beat Geelong, but I knew that with Butters as captain, I knew that they needed to respond. Geelong is still a pretty easy midfield, as good as they have been this season. They've been a really easy midfield to score on. They tried to throw O'Connor and this and that. I didn't really care. We saw how Sam Walsh went when Sam Walsh was worse when he wasn't being tagged than and he was doing better when O'Connor was tagging him a few weeks back. So Nah, very happy with Butters, 147, so I took that score. One thing that hasn't let me down this year is my vice captain and captain scores. I feel like I've nailed them. A lot of thanks to like the third man up who do some really good statistics. That I do a lot of research when it comes to my vice captain and captain, because if there's some things where I'm struggling with, and kind of feel like I am struggling with the side this season, if you can at least have a consistent run with good captain scores, then I feel like you can stay in the pack there. So been very happy with my captain scores this year so far. A lot can change. Jordan Dawson, wowee. Now look what happens, Adelaide. Look what happens when you put him in the midfield. I saw him start centre half forward in the fourth quarter, and their season's on the line here, and they're just they're just playing him forward too much. I don't like it. But when you put him in the midfield, he sets up so much of their play. Stop mucking around with this forward line business. Your season's on the line. Get this bloke in the midfield. He set up so many plays in the midfield in the fourth quarter when he was moved in there. I think Lions kicked the first two and he wasn't even in there. And then they eventually moved him more on ball, and look what happens. Look what happens. So this is a good pick. If Adelaide can just play him a bit more in the midfield, there's no injury concern to my knowledge. I did see a little bit of strapping on the calf, channeling my inner George there, but we just stop it. Just stop it, Adelaide. You're challenging for finals. Your coach is under the pump a little bit. Jordan Dawson, be a bit more aggressive with yourself and say, hey, I need to carry these boys over the line. Put me in the midfield every single week. You can rest me down forward for all I care, for just a little bit, but this forward line's far too much for my liking. But I'm not going to complain. I mean, I am complaining, but a 142 is fantastic because we know what he's capable of, and I knew what he was capable of. And when I saw him at a really good price, I thought I'd pick him up, just because I think he's just a bloke when playing midfield you can back in. Sam Walsh, 119. I thought he was a bit robbed, actually. I thought he was a bit better than this. But 119, I'll take it. Better than the last couple of piss poor efforts when I brought him in. So 119 we'll take. Tom Green, good to see him actually play this week. There was some doubts, but he played, so that was the main thing. So very happy with Tom Green that he did play. So and a 116 is just a big bonus. I thought it'd be struggling a fair bit, but gee, Essendon were bloody good. I'm not a big fan of Essendon, as you guys know, but full credit to them. Like, just the way they pressured themselves was pressured GWS. There was anytime it was in frame, there was a Giants player, but then there would be two Essendon players just rushing to the player in the ball. Like, it was good to watch actually there. But yeah, Tom Green, fantastic. So that was good. Shout out to Pro, who thought he'd be a laid out. Nah, just kidding, mate. Harley Reid, 59. I think it could be time to go, boys. Especially for me when I'm on 13 million and 80k. 13 million and 80k in terms of team value. I think Harley Reid is just a guy I need to cash in, bet against him. Now, I think there will be games where this bloke just absolutely explodes, but could easily be a bloke that gets a bit tired throughout the year. Hasn't really, he's playing like that rest didn't do much for him. He's made us a lot of money. He's been a really good rookie, but I think he's a bloke that I'm probably going to get rid of this week. Darcy Wilson, I tweeted out, like, he's been our best rookie this year, in my opinion. I know he started off slow, but he's a bloke that's really built into the season even further. And I'm extremely happy with Darcy Wilson. Like, a 90, fantastic. He's come in the clutch every now and then, and he's just slowly getting better and better. And he's been, in my opinion, the best rookie this year. He's overtaken Matty Roberts now. Matty Roberts has now moved on to a wing, and this role sucks. So I just wanted to hold for another week and just see if that role could come back, but it didn't. And it's time to go. He has to go. Him and Reid are going to be my two trade outs very likely this week. If not, I mean, Roberts is definitely gone. 1,000% gone. but it's between Howes and Reed for me. So we'll get into trade plans very shortly. But yeah, Roberts is definitely gone. Rogers, I didn't talk about this either. I had a choice whether I wanted to field Rogers or Jones, and I went with Jones. I was just too baited into the 270s that he scored just before I brought him in, and a lot of people brought him in, and felt like I was one of the only few that fielded him. So this is why we need to get the rookies off ASAP, because I just can't cop this, and I'm sure a lot of people that fielded Darcy Jones are feeling the same way there. So, but with Rogers, I didn't pay too much attention to this game because I mean the Saturday night games were just so boring. But yeah, he was pretty good. His even's already a 37, but once that 21 gets out of his system, if he can score well on the Thursday night against the Cats, then that can reset it, and he could maybe get up to 300. Kane McAuliffe, brought him in his bye, and yeah, gee, with all these Richmond injuries, if he can't get in, I don't know how he's possibly going to get in, because I'd love to see him get a run here and just hopefully be a potential cash cow for me. Otherwise, he's just dead there. Max Gorn, 111. Yeah, so for any non-owners, he'll be coming down at a pretty good price for people to come grab him. Probably more of a target for after his buy if you can hold off for that long. But for a bloke like Max Gorn who can just randomly go nuts, probably a bloke you don't take too long before you bring him in. So Gorn's been unbelievable this year. Jordan Sweet, this was stiff. So I traded out Marshall and wanted to have Sweet at R2 with Livingston at R3. And I could either loop Sweet scores or I can just leave it at R2. I can have the flexibility of putting Jackson in there if need be, blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, he was ill, and we had to. We could have just put Dogger at R2 and done it from there. But I really wanted Tim English, and I brought him in, and I thought this was a matchup he would feast on, and just hasn't exactly worked out for this week. Scored an 87. I'm still very happy with him long term, but just yeah, a bit frustrating when a bloke doesn't exactly fire when you bring them in. Just one of those things. Usually SuperCoach heritage right there. So bit frustrating with English. Hopefully he can bounce back against the easiest ruck matchup in the comp this year, and that is Kieran Briggs, who has fallen off a cliff, by the way, with his SuperCoach scoring, and just feel like he hasn't been as good in real life. Well, AFL wise as well. Yeah, but I'm happy to have English long term. I'm not too fussed. I still think I know I had Rowan Marshall and I traded him out, and he went 164. I believe he was the highest scorer of the round. And yeah, pretty frustrating that, but oh well. Um, I I didn't think Jordan Sweet would get ill, and I think a lot of people had that same thought process. We wouldn't have thought that Sweet would have got ill. We would have thought we could have held him at R2, because the mindset was we could hold Sweet at R2, and he's a bloke where he's a better rookie than some of these blokes that we're fielding at the minute, and then we can strengthen another position. But unfortunately, he did get sick, and hopefully he can just come back into the side this week, especially with the 9-day break, so that'd be good. For the power, Isaac Heaney, just as good as it comes. He's been just such a good pick this year, so he's clear F1 for now. But Sam Flanders is coming in with I'm loving the consistency, by the way, with Sam Flanders. Just so good. I just love consistency from players, and Flanders just does it every single week, whether it's playing CBAs or taking kickouts, playing off halfback, that sort of thing. He just gets the job done every single week, and Flanders deserves his flowers. And I feel like he hasn't had enough of the flowers this year. So full credit to Sam Flanders. He's easily been a fantastic pick. Luke Jackson, even when he's solo ruck, he still puts in very mediocre scores. I mean, he's good flexibility for throughout the buys, and whenever there's maybe a 1 week suspension or 1 week injury for English and Gorn there, until we trade Sweet out. So if Sweet's dead, that is disastrous. But yeah, this is frustrating, but we just hold Jackson from here. Sam Darcy, good from him to respond. I thought he would go well against the Tigers. Didn't think he would go this well. Darcy Jones, 38, fielded the bastard. Decided to loop Dempsey and Garcia, just see how each went. I decided to take the 65 from Dempsey, but didn't mean bugger all in the end. And I was looping Roberts and I chose Jones. I actually lost points on that. I can't believe it. That's just been a thing this year. So right, sorry guys, I'm a little bit tired. We've been traveling all day, so went clothes shopping as well. Very happy with the new addition to the hoodie. All right, let's get into my potential trades for this week. So for me, as you guys can see, I have no boosts left, which is fine, I think, because we've got buy rounds coming up and we get 3 trades for the next month anyway. So 3 trades a week for the next month during the buy round. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Wanted to get those boosts done. So trading out Reed and we're trading out, in my opinion, Roberts. So those two can go at this early stage. Stuff could change though. Now, my main priority, so we've got 19 trades and 7 upgrades to go. It does feel like. So, and we haven't got any more boosts. So what do we do now? It's round 10. So we got round 10, 11. We got 2 more weeks of best 22, and then we head back into best 18 for the next month with the buy rounds. The first 2 buy rounds will be pretty easy, and then 14, 15 will probably hit like a truck, which it usually does every season. So, and then we have the final stretch of the last 9 weeks. So we've got 19 trades left. At the minute, we got 7 upgrades to go. I've traded out far too many premiums, so that is a lesson learnt. Try to trust your gut a little bit more with the primos, like probably the wrong move to trade out Marshall, but at the same time, as I mentioned before, the thought process was Jordan Sweet is scoring better than most of these rookies that we're fielding, and I can upgrade a different position, take a worse rookie off. That was the thought process. Hasn't paid off like that, and yeah, I'm sure Sweet will come back and be scoring massive scores as my R3. So, all right, what do we do here? So, Reed, I think for me in my position with the team value not being grouse, I think trading blokes, Roberts definitely has to go. And trading a bloke like Reed, probably just cashing him in. He'll have some brilliant games. He'll have some down games. I think just don't really want to hold that. But he is one of the best young talents I've ever seen. So shout out to Harley Reid. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with and a premium for years to come. So, but just not for this year. So what do we do here? With no boost as well, and with little bank we had hanging into the week, I think the plan here is to have a bit of cash in the bank each week up until the buys. So over the next, definitely want to have a bit of cash in the bank next week. Now for me, I think I want to get in Clayton Oliver, as weird as it sounds. I'll have a look at some other options as well. And for now, I'm going to go with Bruce Revel ahead of Sullivan. I just want to see the team sheets. I think there is less. I think there's better job security with Bruce Revel. There is DPP. And with Sullivan, I think Collingwood are very strict with newer players entering the side. Like a Lockie Sullivan, as we've seen a Charlie Dean. I'm just worried with Sullivan. I could still go with him, don't get me wrong, but I'm just worried with Sullivan that one bad game, he could be subbed. I mean, plays a bad game, gets subbed off, and then gets dropped. And Collingwood are missing a lot of soldiers, so they'll get a few back pretty soon, like Jordan DeGoey, Tom Mitchell, that sort of thing. So that does concern me with Sullivan. And let's not forget, he was sub in the Carlton game. So just remember that. But yeah, I think we'll get look, it could still definitely be Sullivan, but for now we're going to go with the Breville. And then we're going to go with Clary at this stage, which leaves me 264,000. Sorry guys, I'm bloody tired. But yeah, I think we'll go with Clary for now. So having a bit of this cash in the bank will help for next week as we do 1 up, 1 down from here, and strictly 1 up, 1 down, unless it's a 2+ week injury to a premium. Other than that, we're doing 1 up, 1 down. So to me, we've got now this is one way to put it. 17 trades, 6 upgrades, which doesn't sound very good, does it? But a better way of putting it, because of this money in the bank, I'm classifying it as 16 trades, 5 upgrades remaining. So that could probably get me down to 6 trades, 6 injury trades, which ain't good. Which ain't good because I don't know. I feel like hasn't been. I feel like premiums have stayed relatively healthy when it comes to. Don't get me wrong, there's been injuries and there has been carnage, but I feel like there hasn't been too many premiums where they miss 4 weeks or that sort of thing, or they're a must trade, that sort of thing. So, yeah, look, so we're strictly gonna do 1 up, 1 down from here because we have to, because we need to finish a side. I feel like we've got enough cash cows to make this work and a bit of money in the bank. I think it can work. Still need a couple more cash cows to help us out here, finalize the side. If we do go Oliver, I think my final plan with this slot would be to have Matt Rowell. Matt Rowell's the guy I'm eyeing up for this final midfield slot. Just because I know he's had a couple of bad games, but I do think that he is top 8 quality, and I do think with Gold Coast, very good run. I think he can take advantage with that. Now, we didn't see that against North Melbourne, but I haven't heard any injury issues at all from Matt Rowell, just probably a couple of bad games. So he's the one I'm eyeing up. And then the eventual plan would be, if we do have enough trades to make it work, swap one of Dawson, Walsh, Green, Oliver. We'll keep Rowell probably. And try to swap them to Zach Merritt. I think that's the thought process later in the season. In the back line, I think Tom Stewart at 500k is going to be pretty too hard to refuse there. I'm going Oliver over Stewart this week just because. Sorry, one of my housemates just came home. I think the thought process with this is that with Tom Stewart, he scored an 84. He got tagged by Jed McEntee, and I think, yeah, I just need the Thursday night to just have a proper look at him. I haven't seen him play before in Darwin, it's fair to say. So I think that I'll just need to have another proper look at Tom Stewart. So that is really the main idea with that. So not exactly going to bring him in this week, but certainly could even be as early as next week. And I would like to have him at D6, and yeah, just hope he doesn't get tagged as much. Then for this last slot, it's probably either Houston or Martin. If Burton is going to take Houston's kickouts, then I think I'm going to want Nick Martin instead. But if Houston's going to get back to kickouts, I do probably prefer him over Martin. So Martin or Houston and Stewart. For this last slot, they'll be Rowell. And then one of these guys will turn to Merritt if we have enough trades. Gordon and English, we're sorted. Heaney, Flanders, Jackson, we're keeping. And then we need 3, maybe 4 upgrades in the forward line. I think I'm going to run out of trades with because my ideal plan was to get a 23rd premium. The ideal plan was to get a 23rd premium in the forward line, and they were going to be 2 key forwards here, so I could loophole the key forwards each week and just see how well they score. But I'm starting to think I'm just going to run out of trades here. So I could be wrong. But so 16 trades, 5 upgrades. Yeah, so that's probably 10 trades would be my guess, but it could be less. So especially considering we have blokes like Wilson, where that could be a 1 trade swap, or Sam Darcy. So we do have some good cash cows. So I might be able to do that plan in mind. So like, for example, I'd love to get a Charlie Curnow and then maybe a Jesse Hogan or a Jeremy Cameron and just loop them each week just to see if there's a mammoth score, because I just don't want to field them at F6 every week, and I just have to deal with this 110, 60, 40, 150. Like I can't sit through that. So the backup plan would be to maybe grab blokes like Dylan Moore, Jack McRae, Rankin. There's Zorko as well. I haven't talked about Zorko. So I'll talk about Zorko here. This is, in my opinion, Dane Zorko is probably the third best forward for this season. He's a perfectly fine pick. I'm not going to sway anyone away from it because he is the third best forward. Like, it's just that simple. I'm not bringing him in just yet. I'm not ruling it out. I'll definitely look to bring him in, but he'll be like my last upgrade because, to be honest, for a bloke, 17 trades, 6 upgrades, or well, 16 trades, 5 upgrades. It doesn't, with not many injury trades, I want to limit my risk as much as I can and now I know I'm bringing Clayton Oliver, but just because the value is too good to say no. I mean, that's not confirmed, by the way, but Zorko's perfectly fine if you want to bring in. I think he is extremely popular from memory. Yeah, not 4,000 coaches are bringing him in early days, and that's perfectly fine. I have no issues with people bringing Zorko. Just in my opinion, and just in my team situation, I need to limit the risks. So I'd rather have Zorko for a 9-week block than a 15-week block, if that makes sense. Like, I want Zorko, and hopefully he can get down to like 540. He can be my last upgrade in the forward line, and ideally my last upgrade of the side, and then I'll look to get him in. So, yeah, look. Oh, sorry. Did I talk about? No, I didn't. I feel like I didn't talk about Dempsey. I didn't talk about these two. I feel Livingston was my loophole. He's been a stud this year, been a very reliable captain every week, for most weeks. Ollie Dempsey, 65 was fantastic. So he's reset his break even back down to 41. So that's super promising. And just hope that he could maybe get a spike score and regenerate that cash. Just because I'm such a Dempsey believer in those bright pink boots. And Hugo Garcia, good to see him bounce back and score a 65. I thought he was really good for the Saints. Yeah, so I did my trades. Let's go over the most popular traded in, most traded out players, just early days, and I'll just give my quick thoughts on that. Harley Reid, perfectly fine if you want to move off. I also think it's fine if you want to hold, if you've got other worse on-field players than him that you need to trade. I don't think that's that big of an issue, so I think you can hold. But for me personally, I will very likely trade. Matt Roberts is most definitely a trade. If you do have him, please move off him before he just really starts bleeding cash. Will Graham, just wait and see on teams because he could still come in, but it's not looking good. I'll probably just hold until I absolutely need the cash, because he's still got a little bit more cash to make. Nat Fife's an interesting one. Pardon me. This is a very interesting one. Here's the thing with Fife. Like, he had like 10 clangers, 6 frees against. That isn't going to happen every week with Nat Fife. So just remember that before trading him. But at the same time, it does feel like he needs a lot of touches to score a lot of points. So, I feel like, especially against St Kilda as well, where I feel like he could bounce back, because I feel like St Kilda midfielders are pretty easy to score on. So I don't have any issues with anyone holding, but I can understand why you'd trade. And if you're not very happy with your rank as well, I feel like a lot of people may also hold Fife, and you could just try to bet against him and hope he goes poorly, and you can take an advantage with that if you think he's going to go poorly. If you haven't traded out Cadman, please do. He's a definite trade. Blake Howes, this is a perfectly fine trader. I might just have to hold him again. Massimo's a definite trade. Please trade him out. Harvey Thomas, what's his break even? 94, definite trade. He's actually been a very sneaky good rookie. Biggie, I'm just not sure if there's enough meat on the bone with that price. Then Tom Powell, I don't know his CBAs, and once again, I didn't pay too much attention. 69 break even. If you held him at this point, maybe you just hold again. Sullivan, this is perfectly fine. Let's see the team sheets on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Oh no, sorry, Collingwood play on the Saturday. So just see what happens and just see, just in case if he gets named sub, like as I said, Collingwood are really strict with new people coming into the side, as they should be because they're the reigning premiers, but just keep that in mind. Zorko, I explained my reason there. Bruce, I think, is perfectly fine as well. I think his job security is actually pretty all right. Zach Butters, if you can afford it, this is a fantastic trade in. So I do highly recommend Zach Butters. He's got Hawthorn, North Melbourne in the next 2 weeks. So if you don't have him, and if you've got the cash, I'd get him in. Joe Richards, please wait another week. We've got two pretty good options this week. And if you have both in your side heading into this week already, then that's a bit stupid. But yeah, no, don't go early on Richards just yet. Just wait for him to be on the bubble and just see what happens there. But as we know, like the second game is more important for the cash gen than it is the first game. So just see how he goes against Adelaide this week. Heaney, if you don't have him, good, trade him. Petrarca, I wanted to talk about Petrarca because here's the interesting thing because I've been tossing up between him and Oliver. Now, I don't want Petrarca if he's going to be playing full forward all bloody game. I don't want this. He could get forward status, which is very interesting. Not the one coming up, but the one after. Like there's a chance that could happen round 18 DPP where he could be a very late forward option. But no, don't. Um, no. It's perfectly fine getting him in, but I just don't like if he's going to be playing full forward a lot. So that's why at this stage I'm going Oliver because I know he'll be playing midfield week in, week out. But I definitely prefer Petrarca's profile. If he's going to be moving back into the midfield, then I'd be fine with that. Plus, he played one of his best games of his career and scores 134. I feel like he was a bit stitched up there by champion data as well there. Luke Ryan, this is a very good trade him just before the Saints. Saints leak up a lot of points to defenders, so yeah, I'll talk about my vice captain and captain options. If you can afford Serong, then that's fantastic, but don't ruin your side to get him in. And Isaac Rankin, I'm going to pass for now, but he went really well. All right, let's head into the league. Sorry, guys. I'll wrap this up because I'm starting to feel a bit tired. I won 11 out of 12 leagues. I can't believe it. I'm really struggling in my leagues this year. As you can see, my SDS Super League, we are currently 11th, so that is good. We've I'm actually doing better than I should be actually in the league. So shout out to the newcomers again, Stephen. Cameras Hammers, Anthony Caminiti, shout out to him. He's been wonderful addition to the league. And shout out to everyone at part of this league. We're the 63rd best league in SuperCoach. So shout out to everyone with that. This has been a really fun league to be a part of and obviously run every year. So this is good fun. I'll have to do something for the winner at some point because the only reason I haven't done anything is because I've won my own leagues in back-to-back years. But I'll tell you what, the way my season's going, the way a lot of other people are going in here, I think it's fair to say, yeah, shout out to the newcomers inside the top 1K. We love it. I'm gonna have to sort out something for the winner. So hold me on that. I'll have to think of something. And then the SDS Times Pro League ranking struggling a bit, but as I said, a couple of my mates are struggling a bit here. We're currently 13th, so hopefully we can push into the top 8. Same with the SDS Super League. It'd be pretty embarrassing in my own league to not make finals, but we'll see how we go. I mean, we're not sending the world alight, so we deserve to be in the position we're in. And yeah, they're really the main two. Shout out to Finny Q Quest, Tom. Shout out to him for being the highest ranked in the league, and shout out to Scott, Tigers 1770. So for being on top. So look, I think I'll end it there, guys. Sorry, I'm just extremely tired. Been a massive day. These are the vice captain and captain. I'm sorry. Just before we wrap things up, I'm going Ryan into Butters early days. Let's organize this team as well. Like, let's see if we went with Oliver and Bruce, how would we line up this week? So let's, I mean, we're always going to field English over Sweet. Think we'd have to field Dempsey in this scenario. There's no way I'm fielding Darcy Jones. Let's swing Darcy Wilson back into the forward line, and he can pop in there. And there's no way I'm fielding Hugo Garcia. I know he scored pretty all right, but because they got Freo, nah, I don't like that matchup. I think we'll go with Bruce Revel early days up against the Tigers, and we'll go with something like this, man. And yeah, the main priority now is just to get these rookies off ASAP. I'm fine with fielding Closey. Don't like fielding Howes. Don't like fielding any of these three options. Sweet, I'd be fine to field, but team structure doesn't allow it now. Wilson's perfectly fine. Darcy's perfectly fine. And you know what? Dempsey's not too bad. Trades for next week, I think, the week after, I think we'll look at Tom Stewart at his price, and I think his break even's a little bit low this week. Let's have a look at Tom Stewart. But these are the kind of value picks because I've gone pretty expensive with some of my picks, so I definitely need a hunt for value up until the buys, and then we can start unleashing again. But yeah, I think we'll go with Oliver. I think we're going Oliver this week. Some people might ask why I'm still going Oliver. Um, Heading into the round, I was sort of thinking, you know what, I could bet against Oliver, but to be honest, like Clayton Oliver looked pretty good against the Blues. The Blues are one of the tougher midfield sides in the comp to score on. Scored an 87, 26 touches. I don't know. I think he's perfectly fine. M8, just sit him there. The body concerns me a little bit, which is one thing that's putting me off. If he had Petrarca's body, um, I would absolutely jump on it. But yeah, I would get Petrarca, but I just don't really want to pay that much money if he's going to be playing majority forward. I'll worry about that pickup a bit later. So Clayton Oliver, I think for now, and we know he's going to be playing full time mid. Like he looked good against the Blues. And he's got West Coast this week with no Elliot Yeo, very likely, so that would be good. No, sorry, I'm still looking at Tom Stewart. I'm so dumb and tired. All right. So West Coast easy to score points on. I think the Saints are pretty easy to score points on in the mids. Freman's a bit tougher, but as you can see, then he's got Collingwood and North. Brisbane, you can score points on the Brisbane midfield this year. Then West Coast again. I think Essendon you can score some points on there. Very a bit tougher. Giants tough. Depends on what type of dogs show up. Port are really tough. Gold Coast are tough, and then you got Port at the end. So a little bit of a tough run from here. But I don't know. I like the way Oliver's going, and I think I might go with it. And as I said, I probably need a hunt for value from here, and have some money in the bank to make a big splash. In terms of who we're going to target, as I said, it's going to be one of Martin or Houston, depending on the Burton kick-ins. It'll be one of those two, and then Tom Stewart here. Could be Nas because I know the Saints have a really good run home with Marvel Stadium after the bye, so that's interesting. I want this to be Rao, and then one of these, if we have the trades, will turn into Merit, if possible. But he's just super tough to get. And then with the forward line, as I said, ideally it would be two key forwards like Jeremy Cameron and Charlie Curnow, and just hope one of them can go 80 plus each week and just loop them. Last two spots, ideally Zorko, and then one more. It might be Dylan Moore just for a bit of fun. Could be Shy Bolton, could be Rankin, could be, yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Really appreciate all the support I get. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys are going all right. Catch ya.